Hey, it's the Vic on the Real HD show, the Higher Discussion. This is the show on these or any other airwaves where you're going to find us talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of our people, but we're healing it with freedom music. Freedom music happens 7:30 to 8 o'clock every time we do a show. You hit the call letters below. I bring you up. We rock out to all that soulful jazz, hip hop, R&B, things to motivate you, put a battery in your back so that you could get on, so you can know where it's at. You can strategize and get wise about how you move out here in these crazy culo streets. You know what I'm saying? So we're here for you, and we are here today for the start of Black History Month. That's right, the start. I wasn't on Monday because I was getting this show together. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to just get it together. Sometimes we just got to get it together. So Monday I was busy getting it together for all my people, so all of y'all could tap in with a grin to win on the Real HD show. Y'all tap in, y'all share the show, y'all like, share, subscribe, turn on all your notifications so that you, like me, we can have a higher discussion. Total package energy, waters, powders, gels, teas, juices, everything to put a battery in your back to get you off that 3 to 5 o'clock crash so you have a great second half of your day. Total package energy. And we need your energy on this show. Y'all tap in. Real HD chat. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in for the win. And we'll be, throwing out more sponsors as we go. So we're here for our Melanin Wonders of the World show tonight. Melanin Wonders of the World. That's right. You heard it first. But before we do that, there's a couple of things we got to do because some things have happened in the community and our society that we got to pay attention to. I'd be remiss if we didn't. You know what I'm saying? First thing we want to talk about is this right here. You know what I'm saying? Because it needs to be said. Yeah. 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 Dear USA, we don't need your permission to celebrate ourselves. We absolutely do not. We absolutely do not. How do y'all feel about that? There's a lot of people out there, talking a lot of junk about our community, talking a lot of junk and a lot of nonsense about our value, our worth, our cultural icons, our cultural idioms that have made us so special and so valuable all around the world, not just here in America, but all around the world. So to that, I say this. When speaking truth, people's feelings should be the least of your concerns. I agree that, man. And no other community really genuflects to that. No other community bends the knee on that. I'll put that up again. You know what I'm saying? And I'll remove the banner because that deserves a one more again. When speaking truth, people's feelings should be the least of your concerns. And I think we do too much of that PC stuff, man. I think we do too much of that, those things that lead you down, trails of being, in the pity pot category that lead you down the trails of not rocking right with yourself and with your, there's an old saying, be true to thyself and my eye be true. That means truth and justice. So as long as you are true to yourself and you are doing what you got to do for yourself, your family, and your people first, truth and justice will always be on your side. Righteousness will always be on your side. We're gonna hit you in the head right now with you know how we always start. We always do our ancestors and elders moment on the show. And tonight is no different. Tonight is a special elders and ancestors moment because of a very thing I'm going to tell you about right after the intro. Here we go. Yeah, man. So tonight is a special elders and ancestors moment because, like so many others, we've lost the giant. We lost a warrior. We lost a king with the pen. We lost a king with that intellectual zen. And I'm talking about none other than Dr. Neely Fuller. The brother went home on his journey home and he fought a good fight, man. He really raised some intellects. I was one of them. He really put it down for folks who, you know, didn't know, didn't have knowledge self and was on the way getting there. And in our ancestors and elders blueprint, we want to celebrate this brother in a myriad of ways. Y'all tap in if y'all rock with Dr. Neely Fuller. Elders and Ancestors Moment, Real HD Show. Here we go.
You do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works. Everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time.
Yes, we have to say goodbye to a titan of our intellectual space. Um, the brother was so seminal to so many people, to so many intellectual scholars. You can almost say that this brother. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay, we're good. Let me just look at my audio real quick. Okay, we're good. Great. So this brother was a titan in the black intellectual scholarly space. This brother was Dr. Neely Fuller. He inspired so many. He did so much for so many. He put so many people on the path to freedom, justice, knowledge of self, and liberation. You know, he was a scholar. I'm sure if him and Dr. Clark sat at the table, they would spark one another only to find out that they had more commonalities than differences. And they would only spar with each other in that regard because, as titans of what they did for our people's liberation, they would have to feel each other out in order to know who's a real one and who wasn't. And once that happened, you know, a force would be joined for the greater good. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Neely Fuller. I played so many of his speeches and videos through hip hop cartoons because I found that their work on hip hop cartoons featuring Dr. Neely Fuller and other scholars and activists, so many of our ancestors and bright ones. It gives the youth an opportunity to latch on to what Dr. Neely Fuller has done, be exposed to him in a very modern way, in a very, non-invasive way, because it's full of anime images that everybody can rock with, can learn from, can put into their, mental Rolodex and keep pushing. And, man, you know what? I'm gonna play that video one more time. Dr. Neely Fuller deserves it one more again. Man, I'm shook up. I'm really not in a good state right now, but I know. Peace, brother. Godspeed. We're talking about Dr. Neely Fuller. The brother got his marching orders. He's journeying to the other side. And the brother fought a good fight, man. He enlightened a lot of folks. He was a progenitor of the knowledge of self space throughout the country.
Okay.
And I said that if him and Dr. Clark sat down over a board game of chess, they probably would spark each other more than they would play the game
Mm.
because they were so real. They were such real ones that they would have to find out if the person I'm talking to across from me is a real one. That's how that would go.
Mm. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the quote Dr. Clark used to
Yep.
say, I only debate my equals, everyone else I teach.
Speaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
remember
we only
that.
talking about the incomparable, the super intellectual, the one who paved the way for so much, Dr. Neely Fuller. I'm gonna run that back. It's not very long. Real HD show, elders and ancestors. Here we
Do
go.
not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works. Everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time.
Brother Mozzie, what's going on with you, bro?
Just trying to get on the show, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. You know, we talking about the doc, and he's taking that, that journey back to the other side. And
Okay.
Dr. Neely Fuller. And I was getting choked up a little bit because, you, like myself, like so many others, he led a revolution of scholars quietly. He didn't have to be on the grand stage like a Farrakhan. He didn't have to be on the grand stage like so many others to be as effective as he was and to motivate so many to do so many great things, especially this wise one right here.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
He was
Remember,
her mentor. Neely Fuller was her mentor. Taught her a lot, set her on the path doing tremendous, glorious things for our folks.
Wow.
Brother Godspeed, since you was on first, any thoughts on the intellectual giant, the intellectual titan of it all, the Elohim of our scholarship? Moving on.
This is my first time really seeing him, to be quite honest with you. So I'm just
Oh,
taking it
okay.
in.
You didn't see it in the news?
No.
Yeah.
And no, and I'm gonna be straightforward. I had no knowledge of this brother either. So this is a learning process for me. So I'm checking him out.
Yes. Yes, sir.
But I would say this: may the Creator be pleased with him, because if you're telling me he did the works, I know he did the works.
Oh, we gonna show some of them works in a minute. But brother Mozzie, what's your thoughts, man? Dr. Neely Fuller passing.
Oh wow. He was in his 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he listen.
1929 is when he was born.
Listen, man, what people don't understand are some of our best and some of our, you can sort of say, more complete scholars who really understood the issues.
Right.
They had their foundation rooted in the teachings of Neely Fuller.
Right.
Amos Wilson always seemed to understand the issues. He understood how everything was interconnected. The great Frances Cress, she understood. If you listen to a number of brothers out of California that's doing radio shows right now, and one of the shows that I've been listening to for almost 20 years now, the brother Kidi Awadu, who has LIB Radio, the foundation of his show was based on the teachings of Neely Fuller, because one of the things that we always talk about is the 9 areas of human activity. And so what happens a lot of times is, we get people who get caught in a certain realm, and you can be an expert in that realm, but you have to understand how all this stuff is interconnected. So if you don't understand, and what has happened to our people, the other aspects We never come up with a comprehensive plan that is workable for us to solve our issues. You got some people who felt it was strictly economic. So what do? We're going to kick capitalism to the curb and we're going to be a socialist. You get people who felt education was the way, the talented 10. Then you get others who just say, we got to pray our way into this. So religion is all about what the religion is going to do for us. But we know a lot of religious groups and churches and things of that nature, we didn't have a complete philosophy on addressing our community. So when you start looking at a lot of different areas where we've had people come through, those who seem to really get it, they had their roots in the teachings of Neely Fuller.
Right.
And for people who don't know the book, it's the United Compensatory Code System Concepts and Workbook for Victims of Racism, i.e. White Supremacy. That's the name of the book. The United Compensatory Code.
Right. That's where the saying "stay on code" comes from, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Neely Fuller used to, and that's why a lot of brothers back in the day, especially in the hip hop community, who read Neely Fuller, that's where you get it at, man.
That's where you get it
Stay
from.
on code. You got to be on code.
Yeah.
United Compensatory Code, because one of the things that Neely Fuller always talked about was, when we start having conversations, especially when we start talking to what he would call white supremacists and white people, those who classify themselves as white, because he made a distinction. He always said for those who classify themselves as white, because he understood the global system of white supremacy. So in order to have that, you had to have that classification.
Right.
Because because you were white don't mean you.
It's what people today would say identify, like, how
identity
you identify
politics.
yourself.
Yeah. So he he was a quiet giant.
Yes.
He was the liberation whisperer, because those who got it and understood it, they had his teachings, they listened to his lectures. I was very fortunate to break bread with this brother. Oh, my son's what? I'm done. About 25, 26 years ago, man. It was such a pleasure because he was just a regular old dude, man. When some of these guys come with big vibratos, man, or they come with just this aura. He doesn't come with an aura, man, because he's like that uncle, man, that just be sitting out on the porch. If you're from down south, he's shucking some corn, making a little corn pipe or something like that, man. And he just y'all just talking, and he's just dropping some jewels. And that's pretty much how he was, man. He just talks to you. He doesn't lecture to you.
But he gave it to you straight.
Straight, no chaser. He talked to you.
Might hurt your feelings if you ain't sharp. Yeah. Might hurt your feelings. Yeah.
Because he has a section in the book called show-offisms. And he talks about white supremacy has created amongst black people show-offisms. From those who are intellectuals, those who have money, to those who find themselves in power position within white supremacy, and they want to show off to you. Or, the athlete who wants to show you that he got the $90 million house. And so it's like, we don't get money, or we don't get knowledge. We don't acquire things and be humble and help others get it and fight for a just world and justice in this world. We get it to show off.
Yeah, man, I'm going to read real quick. I know you're traveling. I'm going to read real quick a couple idioms that Dr. Fuller used to say all the time. Racism has done more to promote non-justice than any other social material system known to have ever been produced or supported by the people of the known universe. No major problem exists between people of known universe that can be eliminated until racism is eliminated. This is the fear, frustration, malice, confusion that is caused by racism, white supremacy, retards, and prevents all constructive activity between people of the known universe. Wow, the only form of functional racism that exists among the people of the known universe is white supremacy. The people who have the ability to eliminate racism do not have the will to do so. And the people who have the will to do so do not have the ability. Powerful. Regardless of what had been said or done, the quality of relationships between people or non-white people is and has been a total disaster. Justice is better than racism. As long as racism exists, anything said or done that is not intended to eliminate racism and produce justice is just a
So
waste
wasted
of time
time.
and energy. Yeah,
Yes, it
man.
is. Well, you
Waste
know
of
what was
time and
beautiful
energy.
about what he used to say? Just cut in real quick, man, if you
Now, go
mind.
ahead. I'm done. I'm done. You
One
can
of the
jump
one
in.
things that was beautiful about him, he never talked about race equity. He didn't get into all this because this is white supremacy, and the idioms of education create new terms. He
Hmm.
always talked about justice. Period. If you're not trying to create a just world and create justice on this planet, you're wasting time. We don't need to come up with fancy words. He said that is nothing but just you not understanding white supremacy and i.e. racism, and you don't understand what's going on in this world. Because we got caught, everybody's crying over DEI, but if you understood it, you know it ain't had nothing to do with us. But just the fact that we felt that that was something that was somehow going to uh, create something different. But one thing that DEI wasn't going to do was create justice. I can give you all the equality in the world, but that doesn't mean I have to still give you justice.
Fire. Can't say it better
Well
than that,
said.
man. Hey, Pizza
Hey,
Aurora, what's
hey.
going on? How
Hey,
are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Brother
Hey,
Mozzie, that
Sister
was well
Aurora.
said. That was well said. I'm giving kudos to you, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I got turned on to Neely Fuller. I think I was like 19. I was 19, freshman in college. And I got exposed to him through Dr. Frances Cress Welsing because they had her up to visit on campus. And, she kept talking about this guy, Dr. Neely Fuller. And then I remember they were selling the books, her book and his book outside. And I was looking at this book, man, like, I ain't spending my last couple of dollars on this book, man. You crazy? And the book was like $20. The book was $20 forever, man. I think the book was $20 for 30 years. And so I bought this book, man, and it changed my life, man. It changed my life such that it made me very scared because I started to learn something, but I still didn't have enough, as Dr. Francis Crutchwelson would say, enough in the brain computer to be able to really understand and decipher things. So it made me very nervous. As you're growing and learning, and here it's almost like I was playing hopscotch, and I threw my pebble up to number 9 and skipped all the way to number 9, and I didn't go all the way through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But as I got older and I started learning things and I started using that as my framework, because that's what he talks about, using that as a framework,
Mm-hmm.
especially understanding those 9 area human activities, it really started to help me to then decipher a lot of information. And then as it came to listening and listen to some of our scholars, you have to not rank them, but you have to kind of triage them, so to speak.
Right. But then you come to find out so many of our scholars quietly revered this man, and
Yeah,
if not out loud. And you were on the right path if you was dealing with this brother's work and you were dealing with their work. You knew you were on the right path to self liberation, and if not, helping your community to liberate itself. Sister Aurora, how you been? What's going on?
I am fine, thank you. Thank you. Just living through the tribulations. I mean, right before Christmas, my house burnt down.
Oh my
So,
gosh!
yeah, to
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
everything. And so, for the last couple of months, we've been living in hotels. So, this is the first weekend that we just moved into a temporary housing. so I can get back online, because otherwise I'm in a hotel
Oh
room.
my
You can hear my
gosh,
kids,
that's
you can hear my cat,
crazy.
you can hear my dogs.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh wow.
Hey man,
I
y'all
know,
donate
right?
to the show, man. Cash App
Yeah,
the Real
I'm
HD
hoping our
show
listeners
so we can.
appreciated what you've done, and that they
Yeah,
can, even if it's just $5. You
please.
know, we got everybody. If you can at least throw at least $5 in the mix
Absolutely.
to show your appreciation for the time that the sister put in on the show, and
Yeah,
just the fact that we care
Thank
for
you.
our people.
yeah, man. $sign the Real HD show. $sign the Real HD show. We fundraising. We ain't even asking. We fundraising for Sister Aurora. Let's go.
Thank you.
Stop playing
Thank
with
you.
us. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Y'all
Yes.
give till it hurts, man. Because if it was shoe was on the other foot, this sister would give. Brother Godspeed, do you agree?
Oh, 100-fold.
Hey,
100-fold.
brother, how
I
are
bear
you?
witness to her works. I'm all right, sis. I'm all
Absolutely.
right. I'm
Absolutely.
hanging in. I'm sorry to
Mm,
hear about, you going through things the way you went through it, man.
mm,
Shucks.
yeah. But see, now I can get back
Wow.
online because I have my own door to close. But really, we just this weekend we moved into temporary housing, but we've been moving hotel to hotel.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Wow, that's
Wow.
But,
Wow. Wow.
you know,
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I went through that about 3 years ago with my mother-in-law. She
mm,
lost
Mm,
her house to a fire.
yeah,
So
mm.
I know what that's like. Oh my gosh. I don't
I'm
want to put it
telling
on me at all.
you.
But
I don't know.
I
I
feel
wouldn't put it
for
on
you.
anyone.
That is a ghastly feeling in the pit of your belly. I
Wow.
get it.
I'm telling you, everything is like. So every time I turn
especially
around, I was getting ready to tell
Wow.
my kids, "Go to my closet," and oh God, I forgot I ain't got no closet. No, yeah.
well, just the
Whoa.
memories. You know what I mean? Just the
Yeah.
memories. People don't realize how important those memories are, and those memories. What we don't understand is our when we need to power up.
Yeah,
We can have a bad moment. You go and you whip out that book of
Mm-hmm.
photos, or you find a newspaper clipping,
absolutely.
or you find your daughter's little pinche for her hair. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, it just gives you that feeling, that good feeling, that energy you need when you ain't having a good day, or you just need a little bit more to just get you by. So,
Yeah,
sister, trust me, I feel for you right now, because just even being in that situation, if you were able to just find just a news clipping or something from the past or from that house, would probably just give you that extra energy to keep you going the rest of that week.
yeah. And I always
Yeah.
tell the kids, I said, they're digital, but my life and my brothers and sisters were in those photo albums. I was the family
Yes.
griot.
Oh
Yes.
I
yeah,
had the
yeah,
photo albums, and you couldn't even take the photos apart anymore because
Yeah.
you lift the plastic. It was down there so long they would tear. So those photo albums were me and my brothers and sisters' life. And so I said we weren't on digital, except for a few times where I took a picture of a picture and posted it on Facebook, but I mean, I was the family griot, and I had all the photo albums and old videotapes, old
Oh man.
movie
and
tapes,
yeah, that's
So yes, but our kids, they're all on digital. I can
well,
like to and pull
the
it up.
beautiful thing is, you're still here with us, and you're able to
That's
tell a
right.
story, no
That's
matter how
good.
bad the story is. You know what I mean? Because that's
Exactly.
something that we don't end up having. As there's been some fires out here where we just losing a lot of our good people, and our people in general, and we gotta, pray that these homes get inspected,
Mhm.
that we have fire detectors in there so brothers and sisters can get out of their houses,
Yes, and that was
carbon
a big thing.
monoxide
That's what I
detectors.
had. But you know how if you have an alarm in your house and when the smoke alarm starts going off, what do you first do? You just grab something and try to wave it. I'm steady trying to wave wave it. I'm like, there's no smoke here. I'm steady waving in front of the fire alarm. And then you hear the ADT person come over my speaker, get out of your house. Your house is on fire. Because we couldn't see from the kitchen where I was. I could not see the other side of the house where the neighbors saw the
Wow.
flames shooting out of it.
Oh
So,
wow!
Oh
but it was a
wow.
good thing that we were awake, because usually my kids are in their rooms, and if we're all in our rooms, that's it. We don't hear anything. But it was a good thing that, I just finished the Christmas decorations and everybody was down there waiting for me to finish some cookies and food. So that was the blessing that we all got out safe, even my fur babies. We thought we lost the cat because by the time the fire department came, the cats had run and so they found them. But this firefighter worked on the cat like she was working on a child. She pumped it in and oxygen and
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the fire walked over to us and said, well, the big one's gonna make it, but we think we lost the little one. So I'm posting while the whole thing is going on because I didn't know, I thought it was just a little flame. I didn't know how serious it was. And I'm like, hey, here we are, I said I was cooking, but I didn't start the fire and things like that. And just to go in the house and see the whole thing gone, it was terrible. But we're gonna make it.
But see, this is also why it's important for us as a community to have the kind of things that like the block groups and the kind of organizations that when things happen to us, you can tap into that.
Yeah.
And they're there for you to help and assist through these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it gotta suck that we gotta go to the other communities to get that help.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Thank God we have it.
This think tank is good for me.
That's good. Well, we're happy for you that you
Yeah,
get
is the
some
insurance
normalcy
treating
back.
you all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. At least that's coming through because so many people, especially the folks in Cali that happened to recently, they're going through it with the insurance, man. So at least that's a great thing, sis, that you are able to do that,
Yeah.
And
It
able
just
to
seemed like it
receive
was just so long for something to kick in, but it finally happened, and so
I'm sure they got you. Was there anything salvageable?
No, the things that were in the garage were salvageable, and the things on the patio. Like I said, I have a grill and I have 5 bikes that were in the garage, and those things were everything. If it didn't get destroyed by the flames, which is what mostly happened, it got destroyed by the water.
Right.
Every ceiling was down.
That's another part we don't talk about.
Right. Or the asbestos or what's inside the walls that contaminate the environment once it's exposed. That's the insulation and whatnot. Yeah.
Everything.
Hey man, y'all come through. Anybody seeing this now or seeing this on the replay? $ Real HD show. We fundraising for Sister Aurora all month long. Let's go.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We got you. We got you.
Thank you.
So hopefully I got something that could cheer you up. We're here for this tonight, the Melanin Wonders of the World, a Black to the Future presentation. Why? Because when you speak in truth, the feelings of others should be the least of your concerns. In America, we do not need permission to celebrate ourselves. We do not. So we here for that tonight.
All year round, every day, all day, daggone it.
Yeah, if you listen to the Real HD show, you see it all year round. Absolutely. But we're going to intensify it. We're going to focus on it.
Let me say something real quick. This sister right here, Here Comes the Dawn, that bookstore was a testament to us celebrating our culture, our lineage, all year long.
Absolutely.
Every day, all day. That's what that bookstore stood for. Exactly what you were just saying, Vic. That's what it stood for. Here comes.
I always tell people we celebrate every day in our life is a Black History Day.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Brother Mozzie, I was so glad that you were talking about Neely Fuller because my mentor in Godspeed, we call him Dr. He's called Dr. Ken Jenkins, but we know him as Professor Jenkins. He had me go to Columbia to meet Manning Marable, and John Clark was there, and Neely Fuller was there, and I mean, it was just like I was just like
honorable.
Right,
Manning
it was just wonderful. I mean,
Indeed.
if you ever wanted to sit there, I don't think I would have tried to get to Michael Jackson as much as I was trying to get to everyone that was in that room. It was
That sounds about right.
fantastic. I never forget that moment. I met Neely Fuller, met Manny Maribel, met John Clark. I mean, I just there were just so many, and it was wonderful. So I am so glad that when I got on, you were speaking about this, brother, because yes, just like years ago when we were in that 20s, these are the ones that we were talking about and talking to. And so I had the esteemed pleasure to have been invited to go, and that was like the best time in life. I wouldn't have been that much engaged if it was Michael Jackson sitting next to me. It was wonderful.
You know,
I know, right?
You know.
Well, you know what's funny too? Think about when we were going to college and stuff. Going to see a black scholar was like going to a concert to see Drew Hill or something
Hell
like
yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? And kids now, unfortunately, don't seem to understand that or will get the opportunity because the lecture circuit isn't as big as it used to be. But I remember, man, going to Siena College to see Skip Gates, and it was like, man, like, oh man, you Skip Gates is speaking, man, you crazy?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Seeing Kwame Ture come to Nassau when I helped bring him there, man, that was like me meeting my idol, my highest title, numero uno. You know what I'm saying? Straight up superstar. That's the guy that my parents raised me to look up to. And then I was finally able to meet him that time, and it was just a marvelous feeling. And like when Emmett Till's mother came to the State Theater down in Brooklyn. That was another superstar moment for me, and I didn't get to meet her, but hey, listen, man, that woman was so
we packed that
powerful.
State Theater. I remember that.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. She was so powerful, though, man. She was the ultimate rock star. To Brother Mozzie's point, the woman made me cry, and I didn't even know this woman. She made me cry from her power and strength of talking about her son, and and still making sure that she put pressure against the people that did that to her and her son. Just amazing.
Yeah, man. I remember older brother, or a brother who was he was a grad student, working in administration, and he was good friends with Naeem Akbar. And I remember him and his wife. Naeem came up to campus to speak, but he came a day early, hang out at the brother's house. We had dinner. I was like, man, the whole time I felt like, I guess, I never understood like how everybody would be sitting there screaming for these rock stars. And I was just sitting there the whole time just giggling, man. Like, why are you giggling so much, man?
Oh, it was great when we were coming up in school because, this is what we did. If you heard somebody was going to be at Hofstra, if you heard somebody was going to be at Adelphi, or, I would sit there and heard somebody at Rutgers. I'm driving, I'm like, but,
and think about this.
Anybody now to go to. I mean,
and think about this. You heard somebody was speaking at a local school 2 hours away. What we do?
Thank you. Get in our cars and we were going.
We jumped in somebody's hoopty.
That's right. That's right.
I got $5. Let's go.
Hey, we want to get to Rutgers. I remember my first time going, we're going to get to Rutgers. Dr. Naeem Akbar was there and all these others. And then you see I was like, I've never been to Rutgers, never been into the area before. And it was amazing just driving in first. First, you see all these cops. And I'm like, what's going on? All these police officers from Jersey, all these people out, all trying to sit there and thinking that those who had escaped their nets earlier were going to come there. So they were always hanging out around if there was a black author or somebody coming. Always ready. They always thought that Asada Shakur was going to pop up somewhere. So they were always
yeah. We wish.
Good point.
Good point. They would be out there like,
trying to keep her head low. She was trying to get low for sure.
There was something that we were doing.
Her name was like the invisible bully boy.
Yeah, but I remember.
Let's get into it, right? Because we got a lot to cover tonight, and it's already 9. And in honor of Dr. Neely Fuller, and in honor of Sister Aurora, we want to start it off. Melanin Wonders of the World, like this. Right, that was once again shout out to Dirty Clean. That was my son's music. I loved it,
Nice.
so I thought it was
Nice.
very fitting for what we're doing tonight, you know. And we need to move into this because I got something that I think is going to cheer Sister Aurora up. I'm trying to pull it up as we speak, and we're gonna set it off for Black History Month the way we should. Let me see. I just had it. Wow, where did it go? Huh. Give me 1 second, family. I'm gonna find it.
Take your time.
But while we do, let's check this one out right here on the Real HD Show. Oh, I got it. Here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go. Hey,
nice.
That took me back to my Roosevelt days, being in Roosevelt, Long Island, doing my little after school Black History programming for the Roosevelt district. And I would have kids doing interesting, creative things like that. Y'all thoughts, man, on the kids getting amped up for Black History Month?
No, I like seeing that. I like, they're sitting up there talking about having taken away. You can't take away certain things. There's nobody can, take it away from you. So we got to keep those vibes going. They had a lot of them online this week, with faculty members and teachers. Stop. I'm sorry.
Did the video get you get
I
like
that, and I like it just because we make our own music, so
right,
somebody has creatively making their own music, so that was good.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
man.
I love the energy. I love the high octane energy that they had singing that song. You could just feel the whole vibration in the room. You could see it, and if you couldn't see it, you could hear it. That's for sure, and feel it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I love seeing that.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So let's check this out. Fair use. This is Unapologetic, A Different World. Check it out.
But regardless of your degree, I am telling you, they will think you know less than you do because you're Black. It's not enough for you to be equal. You have to be better. We have to be better. And it's my job to see that you and we are.
My hair is not just for fashion. It's part of my heritage. It is a statement of pride.
Being Black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am.
Typical. Typical for whom? People with pointy heads, buck-toothed people, big-eared people? Or is it just Black people?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I wish you really were playing dumb.
You want to be proud of something, Henry? You be proud of them, because they was all Black women. And I tell you, there ain't never been a better woman.
All right.
I love that.
I'm just trying to set it off. No matter
Yes.
what side of the fence you on, man, we have a value, we have an impact, and we are allowed to celebrate ourselves. All right, man. So we moving on. Any reactions to the video, or we gonna slide?
They're
Love
awesome.
it. Yep.
You know, I love the fact that the kids took a class and an old black classic and made it their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now we know they're gonna sing it and learn it. The other
Mm-hmm.
part is the other ones where just was dope because those are the times that we grew up under.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
always good to have that nostalgia. I keep telling the kids, you know, you want to make good memories, man, because when you look back on them, it just makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So let's
That's
move on,
important.
man. Let's get into our AAT report real quick, celebrating ourselves. Here we go. Right. So we are talking about how to be healthy, wealthy, and wiser, because health is wealth right now. As we learned
Absolutely.
tonight, we are blessed to have Sister Aurora on the show with us after what she's been through. We are happy and very fortunate for that, and we hold her in high regard. So please support the show and support her. But right now, we want to celebrate ourselves by celebrating some of our past accomplishments as a people, and we want to talk about something that just popped off, not just, but is within you know the annals of what we did as a people. And we're gonna go to Hawaii right now. Here we go.
Okay.
Sister Dr. Alice Ball and what she did for the medical and black community in Hawaii. Check it out. Real HD Show.
Blazing chemist who changed the medical world before she was even 24. In the early 1900s, leprosy was a devastating disease, and Alice created a groundbreaking treatment using chalmugra oil. Her method became the first successful treatment for leprosy, helping thousands of people regain their lives. Not only was Alice the first African-American woman to earn a master's from the University of Hawaii, but her work was largely ignored after her tragic death at just 24. Though her name was hidden for decades, Alice Ball's contributions to science and the black community live on, inspiring generations of scientists. Alice Ball, a hidden figure no longer. Meet Alice Ball, a trailblazing chemist.
All right. All right, here we are. So we're back, Real HD Show. Any thoughts on Alice Ball, who was actually at the time denied credit for what she did for curing leprosy? Others, of course, was on the Edison tip, trying to, take credit for other people's work. You know how they, you know what they do, how they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what do we think about what she did for the community of Hawaii and what she did for our community? One of our unsung heroes.
Yeah, that's
Thoughts?
amazing. She died when she was 24, so she did all of that
24.
before 24. She reached
Powerful.
those
Man, that's
heights
what.
and made those
Show you how
achievements.
smart we had to be in order to get
Mm-hmm.
to be accepted or to be able to accomplish something. And just in general, we were just smart motherfuckers
Yes.
when we applied
Basically, yeah.
ourselves.
They're loud.
Yes. And we still
Daggone
sit
right.
there have to be twice as good, or it has not changed. But this 24, that's
She
amazing.
got that Imhotep in her DNA. That's what that is right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Absolutely,
Love it.
absolutely.
Love
That
it. Love it.
Imhotep
Love
muscle
it.
flexing right there. You know what? What I would say is that in the 20th century, she would have to be considered, 20th century. She would have to be considered a miracle worker in her time, in her prime. Because
Yeah.
really what she did was of a biblical proportion. When you look
Yep.
at what she did, she removed leprosy. She healed leprosy. Let's be real.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So we're rocking on the Real HD show. We're celebrating our folks doing great things, those melanin wonders. And if you didn't know, now you know, baby. Sorry about the phone going off. I'm trying to turn it down right now. Come on, baby girl. I'll call you back when I get off. You know, I go on from 8 to 10. All right. So we're rocking. We rocking. I'm trying to find this other video. Give me 1 second. It's about the paramedics and how in the 1960s in Pittsburgh, there was a group that went ahead and fostered their own paramedics that because EMS wasn't answering the phone for our folks back in those days. And we fostered our own paramedics unit to do the jobs that others wouldn't. Similar to the way that the Black Panthers had, community-based programming. They needed community-based programming there, and we did well. And I'm trying to find this video. Give me 1 second. I'll call it. You know what? This is what we're going to do. We are going to jump into an inventors segment on the show that will feature that very thing while I find it and we move on. All right, so here we go. 15 untold Black history inventors on the show, Real HD show. Here we go.
People. Here's a list of 50 and co-founded the U.S. Thermo Control Company, later known as Thermo King. The company was critical during World War II, helping to preserve blood in the telecommunication space, including the touch-tone telephone, the portable fax, caller ID, call waiting, and the fiber optic cable. This genius also designed an improved railroad car bathroom and an early air conditioning unit. So the next time you're escaping a hot day inside your cool house, don't forget to thank Lewis Latimer. A modern closed-circuit television system that is widely used for surveillance, home security systems, push-button alarm triggers, crime prevention, and traffic monitoring. Charles Drew. That blood is available. Drew was a physician, surgeon, and medical researcher who worked with a team at Red Cross on groundbreaking discoveries around blood transfusion. From his position with the American 5 patents, primarily in voice-over Internet Protocol, VoIP, some in other areas. She has another 100 patents currently under review. Today, Marian is an SVP at AT&T, serves as a mentor for women in AT&T Labs, and sits on the board for the Holocaust, Genocide and Human Rights Education Center. Technology, product and business operations. Today, you can catch Lisa at the White House, in the United States Digital Service. She is currently serving as the Chief Digital Service Officer, Computer Processing. In 1989, he put this idea to work, using 65,000 processes to invent the world's first supercomputer, able to perform 3.1 billion calculations per second.
All right, so I had to fast forward through some of those because there's so many, and you guys can go on YouTube and watch the rest of that video. But wow, the reason why I thought it was interesting for the AAT report on health is because those inventions made our lives and made the way that we live just a little more easier. It allowed us to be a little healthier and live just a little bit longer, than our ancestors used to. Made the world a better place to live in. And we're gonna get it right there. Anybody got any retorts on what we were talking about in the AAT report for tonight?
Oh, fabulous.
I
And
think it's
the
beautiful,
list goes
man.
on and
You
on.
know, yes, that's a fact. Yeah, I was looking at that list the other day. I mean, there's so many names. You know, I would like to do a better job of internalizing these names and the inventions that are attached to these names, because you know, the few that I do recall comes up real handy in just social, cultural conversations with people of a different, diverse background, and it's good to enlighten them sometimes because you know, hey, look, you know, I for one definitely through the last half a decade or so have become a pretty stern critic of my own in general, not individual, but in general, not in groups, but in general. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is. Sometimes we're out there doing some heinous things to one another. But,
Yeah.
you know, the thing is that it's always great to take a time out from looking at that and seeing this and remembering this, knowing that, hey, no, we've brought more to the world than we're getting credit for, you know? So, and you know, and you see, it'd be great if there was a way. Well, there's ways, but I'm just saying, it'd just be great if, and I don't mean like, and again, in pockets where there are cultural communities here, you know, that do a lot of teaching of knowledge of self and everything that comes along with it, the history of inventors and everything. But if we could have had that on a much wider scale, you can imagine where we would be now as a group, as a melanated group. Where would we be, right? Sky's the limits at that point, you know, because I remember what it felt like in the 90s and in the 80s. And, you know, saying that, you know, people will look back on that and say, well, do you really feel like that's something to get back to? Well, I'll say this much. I'd rather get back to that than where we at right now. You know, I would just say when you could turn on the radio and you could hear Public Enemy coming through your radio talking about fight the power, can't trust it. You hear these type of records, you know, you hear You Must Learn playing on Hot 97 or 108.5 or whatever, Z100, whatever was the rave at the time. That's a far cry than what we have going on right now. You know what I mean? And the mindset of the people in the neighborhood was quite different. But look, even if you want to look at your neighborhood hustler, the neighborhood hustler of the 80s and 90s had way more of a moral code than today's hustler, generally speaking, not individually, but generally
Absolutely.
speaking. They knew how to respect their elders. You know, they knew how to tell young kids, hey, look, at least don't do what I do. They didn't say, come and join my gang. It was like, yo, go over there and shoot that basketball, man. Or go over there and, you know, I heard you doing good with grades in school. Stay away from this, you know? But you don't even have that anymore on a general scale. You know what I mean? I'm not saying individually you don't have people out here that live up to yesterday's norms a little bit, but for the most part, no, quite honestly, you know?
Well, that's why I wanted to show you the brother that was out of Nigeria who invented the supercomputer, because that's recent. And then you also have brother Julian Brown, who invented ways to turn plastic into gasoline. And now he has his own chain of gasoline stores all over the country.
That's impressive.
You know, imploring people to bring their plastic and recycle it into petroleum for use in people's automobiles. But I found the piece that I wanted to highlight in that last segment. And this one, it was this one right here. So I didn't find the vid, but I found this one. Here's your Black History tip of the day. The first paramedics in the United States were black men in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the late 1960s, a groundbreaking program called Freedom of House Ambulance Service was established to provide medical care to underserved neighborhoods. There you go. Heard it here on the Real HD show. Okay. Yeah, I hope your daughter feels better, Maz. Tap in when you can. So that's it right there for that one. And then the other one I wanted to highlight was there would be no Real HD show if it wasn't for this sister right here. Dr. Marion Crook was a genius behind Skype, Zoom, and all types of digital telecommunications. The billion-dollar industry with successful companies such as Skype, Magic Jack, Zoom, Vonage, StreamYard, You know, all of the rest. Let's celebrate her. She has more than 125 patents and VoIP technology, making her one of the greatest inventors of the modern era. So let's give it up for Sister Marion Crow. You know what I mean? That's why we doing the Melanin Wonders of the World tonight on the Real HD show. What do y'all think of Sister Marion Crow as one of our trailblazers, as one of our young trailblazers, getting it done in the modern era?
Yes, and it's amazing because her name doesn't even pop when.
You breaking up just a bit, sis. Do me a favor. Let's do this. Go out and come back into the show, and then that should clear up all of your microphone issues. Do that real quick while we play this video, okay? So now we're gonna get ready to jump into our lit city report because I think Sister Aurora's mic was frozen and her vid was frozen. So while she's working on that, we're gonna work on this. Here we go. Hey, so we're in the Lit City Report. The wacky, the wild, the wonderful things that make our world go round, especially during Black or Melanated History Month, right? Melanin Wonders of the World. That's what we're here for tonight, right? And I wanted to show a picture of something that was really dope. And you don't get to see this a lot. And this is goals as far as well, the first thing we want to do is we want to celebrate this while I find a pic. Hey y'all, The Last Dragon turned 40, y'all. Remember the movie? Can you guys hear?
Yeah, I know y'all remember that movie. Doesn't he have a dojo today?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, he's a
had
grandmaster.
Yeah.
Timeout, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a grandmaster for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, man. The Last Dragon, cultural icon, turns 40 years. I have to watch this at least once a year. It's one of the
right.
It's one of the dopest movies that shows mastery of self. You go on a sojourn to learn about self, to learn to conquer your bodily fetters, to discipline yourself, to learn an art, to learn a discipline, to help out your family, to help out your community. And then like Brother Luck said, you do have those who might want to do the community some harm, who don't quite have it all screwed on the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you gotta discipline that ass.
Right.
So, Bruce Leroy in a
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy in a manner of finding himself helped out his community and his folks in the process. Brother Luck, what's your thought on The Last Dragon turning 40, man? Still on. Let me know if you're still on, bro. Because I think it's amazing. Out in California, what they do is they have a big celebration for it. And it's like a Coachella type of thing that they do, Sister Aurora, where they have what do you call that? They have like a big screen that they put up, right? Big flat screen, about maybe 1,000 feet, and they play the movie, and people come from far and wide, from states away, to celebrate the reunion of the movie. And they've been doing it since the movie was 25 years old, 30 years old, 35 years old, and then they did it again this year as the movie turned 40 years old. What do you think is special about that particular movie and its impact on our community?
Well, one of the things I think when we used to go to the movie theaters to see Bruce Lee, okay, and play, this movie was, I believe, it was directed and produced by Black but black director and written and produced. So
Yeah,
it was
Barry Gordy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so it was, written and produced, and most of the behind the scenes people were black professionals in that area because of Barry Gordy. So that was one of the things that is important to know about this movie, and then having him run around Harlem.
all black, all melanated people enterprise. This is the picture I wanted to show us, right? Two things, right? And I think I hope brother Godspeed is still on with us. This one right here.
Oh yes, that has been on Facebook all week long, and it's just wonderful to see.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
He's 103, she's 101. They got
73 years
plus years together. Fire.
Your brother Godspeed says, "Let him back in."
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Okay, go ahead, bro. You on? I'm sorry. I didn't know you tapped out.
Yeah. No, something happened. I don't know what it was. It was like I was backstage all of a sudden. I was like, "Whoa!" Hey, the curtain came down.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We here
because I'll backtrack real quick. Because you know what it was when you asked me the question about the Last Dragon. I was like, "Show enough."
Yes.
And I was like, they're not hearing me right now. Real quick,
yeah, man. But you movie, back on, man. We rocking on strong.
Movie,
we here tonight for this.
I remember exactly where I was when that movie was showing. We were in the Rochdale. Me, my mother, my brother, and I were in Rochdale movie theater, right there by Section 1. Anybody who knows Rochdale knows what I'm talking about. The small mall. The mall is still there, but there's no more theater. But we were there, man. We watched that at Rochdale movie theater. Phenomenal movie. We were hooked, man. It's just a beautiful movie. Gives you good vibes. And like you said, the guy was standing up for a righteous point in the community. He was on his walk for discipline. He was doing something that Muhammad Ali became popular for in the movie. That's what he was promoting, is being abstinent while training, And, Vanity would come through and, everybody in the theater, all of us little guys and teenagers, whatever. We was like, oh my God, we had a crush on her. We looking at him like, yo, dude, push up on her. But he was like, nah, he's on his righteous path, righteous walk, abstaining and training, you know what I mean? So that was great. And then again, it's like they showed two different sides of a coin. You had Show Enough, and you had Bruce Leroy, righteous, unrighteous, you know what I mean? So, yep, exactly. They balance out. Opposites attract, right? So it was just crazy. That was just a great movie. It had so many things, and the diversity of the melanated cultures in there, Latinos, original people, you know what I'm saying? So you had this diversity that was going on, and it just gave you the flavor of New York of the time,
Right.
So anytime I look at that movie, I'm just catching flashbacks of what the city used to be like with all the graffiti trains. Like me and my lady talk about, me and my lady talk about these things, and, she was like, yeah, but the trains were like, she's of a different opinion on what the trains were like in terms of like how it looked. But me being a B-boy, I can't help it. You know what I mean? I just look at it as nostalgia, like, yo, culture was heavy at the time.
It sure was. And we're going to keep it on Melanin Wonders because we're going to go right back to the culture of the 80s and the 90s with Grandmaster Theodore Livingston, born in the Bronx. Livingston, a.k.a. Grand Wizard Theodore, was a hip-hop DJ who created the technique of record scratching. He invented a needle dropping, which allowed for faster movements in DJing. So there would be no rave, there would be no house, there would be no a lot of things. Parties would not be the same if it wasn't for Grandmaster Theodore and DJ Needle. So we want to pick him up, man. That's our history right there. You know what I mean? That's our history right there. One of the melanin wonders of the world. Now, every time you have a party and a DJ is involved and you vibing off great music, you could thank Grandmaster Theodore for your good time. There you go. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we're gonna, man. We never know what we're gonna run into while we're moving in this way. But right now, we're going to jump all the way to Puerto Rico.
Oh.
We're gonna jump all the way
Taino
to Puerto Rico and the melanin or the melanated city of Loíza in Puerto Rico. And the really, really dope mural called the Osum mural. And Spike Lee featured this mural in one of his movies. As you can see, it's a Spanish speaking sister. She's dancing, real chocolate, doing her thing. This is in Puerto Rico. This is in Loíza, Puerto Rico. And you guys could go check that out. It's been featured in Do the Right Thing. It's been featured in a lot of different Spike Lee adaptations of the famous mural. If you could look, I don't know if I can blow up the screen. I don't know if it works on your end, but on my end, it's blown up. And you can see the sister dancing and lifting up her, her energy and her vibrations through her dance, getting it done, being a proud, Afro Puerto Rican and getting it done. As a matter of fact, they don't really celebrate Loíza, Puerto Rico like they should, because a lot of the flows and flavors that came to the United States that were melanated from the Spanish speaking folks came out of Loíza, Puerto Rico. So we're going to do it tonight on the Real HD show. And guess what? Loíza is full of murals like this of a lot of chocolate brothers and sisters getting down, getting busy, doing their thizzle. What do y'all think?
Nah, it's a beautiful thing, it's still, how could I say, when you look deep enough, you're gonna find this everywhere. You just gotta look. Sometimes a stronger look than usual.
Just look at the tapestry of it. I mean, we're just so talented, It is beautiful to look at. I'm just looking even at the ground, how the tapestry is done. That's beautiful. Yes.
So as we continue to think about Puerto Rico, we want to feature, and I know Luck knows about this, the brown bomber of Puerto Rico, Tito Trinidad.
Oh, no question. No question. I was a fan of his. I was a fan for sure. I watched all his fights pretty much.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, you know what I mean? Getting into the early 2000s. Yeah, he had rocks in both hands, boy.
Yeah, that's what was so dynamic about the brother, is because he was just as powerful with his left as his right.
Yeah, he was.
And that was hard to do. Boxers were either really bully with their right or bully with the left, doing with the southpaw style. But he had rocks in both hands, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he made history by being the first guy to beat the great Oscar De La Hoya.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
That was the night when they say somebody's old gotta go.
And we staying on the athlete train. We're not in Puerto Rico anymore, but y'all go check out all those great murals. Y'all go check out the awesome mural in Puerto Rico, and we jumping back to LeBreezy. That's right. LeBron James has made the Forbes list of being one of the most philanthropic athletes of all time, because he gave $41 million over the course of his career to send over close to 2,000 students to college.
Whoa.
So we need so as much criticism as we have for the brother, with it, whether you care for his style of play or you don't, whether you care for his socialite status or you don't, you gotta big up his ability to be charitable for the people. Big up to LeBron.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Salute. Absolutely. It's crazy. I don't know how connected this would be to that, because of everything you just said, about people's outlook on him, maybe be a critique of his social life and so on and so forth. I remember one time the late great Kwame Ture, when we brought him to Nassau, my old man was critiquing the great Martin Luther King, right? Because like I think I shared with you guys before, months and months ago, that in the household I was raised in, we were raised honestly to not like Martin Luther King, to be quite honest with you. I was like pretty much the black sheep in the public school, because I'm the little kid that would raise his hand and have something to say, not knowing I'm just repeating what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? So the late great Kwame Ture had this conversation with my old man, and he looked at him, he said, you know what? He said, you could say things about Jesse Jackson, you could say things about Martin Luther King, but guess what? Those guys did something. They were still active in some form or fashion, even if you disagree with how they went about it, or what they stood for, the way they stood for it, but those men did something. So we shouldn't really be here criticizing them, because they actually did something that has some form of like, some kind of energy propelled in the world to try to make life better for melanated people. You know what I mean? In his own words, that's what he said. So with that, it made me take a slightly deeper look than I usually did through the years when it came to Dr. Martin Luther King. And I was like, you know what? Late great Kwame Ture was right again, on that one. When I looked deeply, I was like, whoa. So now I have to look at my old man and be like, nah, Dad, honestly, he did some real great work, man. Like, there's a lot of things the man put his life on the line. I mean, I can't say the same to that degree, not that degree, like, nah, So with that said, when you said that about LeBron James and the detractors, I said to myself, look at what this man just did, $4 million to send all these kids to school. We should be applauding this man.
Absolutely.
He's done more for us than some people who got holidays.
Right.
He's done more for us than some people who got faces on dollars.
Well, let's keep it moving to a sister who should have her own holiday. They call her Mama Rock and Roll. Let's go to Queen Rosetta and let's talk about her on the Real HD Show.
Didn't it rain, children? Rain, oh yes. Didn't it? Yes, didn't it? You know it did, didn't it? Oh yes, how it rained. I said it rained, children. Rain, oh yes. Didn't it? Yes, didn't it? You know it did, or didn't it? Oh my Lord, how it rained.
That was the mama of rock and roll, Queen Rosetta. Her along with Mama Thornton. Back in the day when, Elvis would come out with You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. Hey, look, that was Mama Thornton right there. That was her song.
Oh, wow. He ripped that one off her. Wow.
Yeah, Uh-huh. And then Queen Rosetta, she had things ripped off of her as well. Classics that went to the Beach Boys and all types of artists that never, these sisters never got credit for their really, really great work. You saw her working that guitar. Wow. She was working that stage. And you saw how it was makeshift, right? Where it was like a railway track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had the people in a stand outside of the railway track. So don't tell us we can't get it in if we need to do a show, man.
Exactly.
Come on now.
So I guess Pat Boone was the only one ripping off tunes.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, we talking about that melanin wonder of the world on the Real HD Show going all over the place. What we're going to do right now is we're going to jump into Colombia. We want to jump into Medellin, Colombia. And we want to talk about what the melanin is doing over in Colombia. You know what I mean? Because we're doing it all over the world. We're doing it big. We're doing it how we're supposed to do it. And in Medellin, Colombia, they got a special thing that they do for their carnival. If I can find the vid, give me 1 second. I'll be naming these things and I'll be forget what I name them. Let me just see.
And then my kids keep coming behind me saying, "Up, there goes another senior moment."
No, it's here. It's abbreviated, so it's not easy to pull up as I have it in my categories.
That's all right.
Because the show, the back office makes me abbreviate all these videos. Well, while I'm looking for that one, let's go all the way to South Africa and learn about Thakane, the Dragon Slayer. Check it out, Real HD Show. All right, that was Thakane, the Dragon Slayer, and she was the folklore of a king or queen or someone of regality throughout the South African lore, melanated sister who ruled her kingdom, stood up for freedom, justice, and equality, and also there's a folklore in her stories like Anansi and the Ngawe and so many other African folklores where she slew a dragon. So it says the dragon slaying South African princess, fascinating by Batheso mythology about the fearless girl warrior and the Nanabile water dwelling dragon. Cannot get enough of these stories. I thought it was dope to mention in the show because we always hear about Greek mythology. We always read about what the Europeans consider a lore or important to the culture, and we have our own great stories. We have our own great lore, and we should celebrate those things a lot more. Our people are littered with them, whether we're here or whether we're across the seas, wherever deep concentrations of melanin people dwell. Great things are happening, especially in the area of Nova Scotia. So I don't know how many people are hip to this one, but it says the peoples of African descent, melanated folks, are a vibrant part of Nova Scotia's past. Individuals made Nova Scotia home, contributed to the fabric and success of today's province. Nova Scotia can be said to be the birthplace of culture heritage in Canada, boasting of the largest melanated community in Canada. Today, these rich settlers make up African Nova Scotia community. They landed over 400 settlers to call Nova Scotia home. They settled in over 52 communities, such as Shelburne, Africville, Eastern Preston, Annapolis Royal, Cherrybrook, Halifax, Sydney, Spring Hill, North Preston, and Beachville. So there you go. You heard it first right here on the Real HD Show. If you didn't know about our melanated presence in Nova Scotia. Thoughts?
No, the first person I ever met from Nova Scotia, it was when I was in college at Nassau Community College. And this girl, when we were getting up and saying like where we were in a Black woman study class, and she said she was from Nova Scotia. The whole class was like, "There's Black people in Nova Scotia."
Right.
It was just like everybody turned to say, "You're from where?" Yeah.
It's like we say in the Aboriginal Republic, we're from the earth in every parts.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
23 million miles of useful land, you know?
That's right. Everywhere.
Yeah, man. So that's dope. I wanna highlight something that was also a seminal work of a lot of our intelligentsia, as it was. And this is Dr. Ben's very first book. The Black Man of the Nile Valley and His Family, written in 1972.
So
started him on a lifelong journey. Not that he wasn't already super efficient at what he does and what he professed and his scholarship, but this was his seminal work, his very first work, leading up to decades long work of, you know, freedom, justice, and liberation for our folks in many different ways. Him being a Caribbean man himself, he recognized his scholarship, and we just wanted to celebrate another indelible contribution that is a melanin wonder of our world. Brother Luck, what did you want to say?
Oh no, bravo, absolutely, salute.
Okay. Also, we want to jump right to Australia. Not a lot of us knew that there were Black Panthers in Australia, led by Dennis Walker and Sue Chile.
Get out of here!
Wow.
You just enlightened
All
me.
the way over there. Go ahead, bro. I didn't want to cut you.
Oh no, it's cool. I'm just amazed. You enlightened me. I didn't know that. Wow, never heard of that. Black Panthers in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so crazy. It's like looking at, like from a certain lens, not putting them in the same boat with these folks, but it's like saying, damn, you got Bloods down in Trinidad or Crips down in Trinidad. You say we have Black Panthers in Australia. That's as foreign as that, like a way out of the box thought. Because it's like I would look at somebody and be like, well, how the hell does the Blood and Crip culture even make it to Trinidad? You know what I mean? But you know how it is. A couple of people get deported here and there, but in the neighborhood over here, that's what they were participating in. And next thing you know, they get off the plane over in Trinidad, and it's not like they're getting walked into a jail for any reason. They just might have got deported. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, boom, they start up their little chapter down there. But that's crazy. You got Panthers from Australia. I did not hear that before.
And remember, every time they mention Australia, they say, oh, they talk about the Aborigines, and but there's more than just the Aborigines there of dark skin. I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? Just to play around with that just a little bit, it's like they make that word exclusively to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So you only think that there's Aboriginals there. You don't know that there's people that look like you and I just having the same life as you.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, you guys made that word exclusive to them. And, I'm glad they have that title over there. No sweat, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. They make it just this. Like, that's all you think if you never, I forgot what the show was. It was one show that they started featuring in Australia. And that's where you just saw, like, this the fisherman, and he was just a regular Black man. I said, well, he's not Aboriginal. I'm like,
yeah. What's the sad thing is? I just caught myself. I'm like, yeah, I was just saying, man, the word is exclusive just to them. But you know what's sad? As okay as that word is on a certain level and scale, it's still a form of denationalization because you're not really truly calling them by their tribal name. So it's the same thing you did to all of us all over the world, quite frankly. From the time,
and remember, they're the first people there, and now they act like it's a different kind of person. I'm like, you don't land in Australia and you see these Black people, they were the first ones there. That's
they're indigenous.
Speaking of some of the greats coming out of there, one of the most biggest nautical geniuses to ever be on the planet was a guy by the name of Bill Blue out of Australia. Bill Blue was a master seaman, and he did a lot of feats on the water, sailing back and forth, taking folks back and forth, sailing ships, helping out the colonial trade, as it were. Brought himself to freedom. Now, an entire waterway in Australia is named after him. He has a nautical university named after him, and that is Brother Bill Blue of Australia. Also, Black Jack Anderson. He was a pirate out of the Australian waves. He was a seafarsman. He used to trade and hunt down sea otters and trade their fur for money. Now, we also know that the city of Chicago was founded on fur trading by another brother. And also, connect while we're still on the Australia tip, we got the famous Henry Black Caesar. Ooh. Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa. The wildest pirate ever to live out of Australia, sailed around the world, kicking ass and taking names. Henry Caesar. So when you hear Black Caesar, or you see the flag going up with the skull and bones, or you see somebody say Great Caesar's ghost, because they couldn't catch him. He was that swift. He was born a slave, fought his way to freedom, got his own crew of over 50 people, sailed around the world on ships, kicking ass and taking names. But what they don't tell you was he was taking down slave vessels and vessels of European trade and colonization. So big up to Black Caesar. All of these dynamic brothers out of Australia. So we're gonna keep it moving, man. Unless y'all want to chime in. We want to keep it moving. We still got more melanated wonders of the world, and Luck and I host a show called In the Bonus Basketball Show, Hoop Show. And being that we're celebrated melanated wonders of the world, one of the very first women to play in the NBA. Yes. Did you know that, Luck?
They just finished. They have this show on, and they're celebrating the WNBA today. And now everyone is bringing her up. And AJ, she had a shirt with her picture on it, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, man. Let me read this little piece. Lucia Harris, the first and only Black woman to play in the NBA in 77. Whoa. Professional basketball changed forever when Lucia Harris became the first and only Black woman to play in the NBA. Growing up in Mississippi, she began her career as a captain of her high school team, earning the most valuable player 3 years in a row. So she was a baller. Graduating, Harris continued her career playing sports for the women's basketball team at Delta State University, where she won the national championship of Division II in the NCAA. She became successful outside of sports. She finished her time in college with a bachelor's degree in health, physical education, and recreation. Finally, in 77, Harris made victory when she was chosen in the 7th round of the 1977 NBA draft by the New Orleans Jazz.
Wow, that's crazy. I never even heard this before. You just super enlightened me.
Yeah, man, she's a melanated wonder.
They don't talk about her at all.
The world, you know what I mean?
And say it was a
I wonder if they
WNBA.
talked about her in the WNBA even.
They just finished doing this thing, and it was fun because everybody was asking, AJ, who one of the lead WNBA women now, she had her on her chest, the shirt. And dope. She was, and that's why when I was like, oh my goodness, and they were celebrating those who came before them, and so she had her on their shirt, on the shirt, and it's on one of the social media things. I forgot which one I was looking at, either Threads or Instagram or something like that. But they were showing her, and that's how that name is so new and familiar because of the women who were showing the women that came before them, and I thought that was brilliant.
That's great.
Yeah, you're right, Luck. They did a really poor job over the years of highlighting her.
They never did. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They've done a bad job. That woman should be like a world-renowned icon in the world of basketball. She made history. She did something that these new age WNBA women dream of doing. Getting to play on the same, being drafted by a team in the males NBA, like in the NBA.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like, you just had a girl they were making a big deal because this girl had a 3-point competition with Stephon Curry. Now, rightfully, it's a big deal, but now you let me know about this. This is a bigger deal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
This
Yeah,
is a
man. We
bigger
doing
deal.
it. We're doing it. Real HD show. We are
It's almost like, you know what it's
celebrating
like? It's almost like reverse
Melanin
engineering.
Wonders.
It's almost like
Say it
reverse
again.
engineering. It's
What
almost
do you
like
mean?
reverse engineering. Meaning like,
Say,
okay, they made it a big deal that this girl had a 3-point competition with Steph Curry, right? That's something that you normally do if you're drafted into the NBA, to be able to participate in a 3-point competition with you know, and this woman ahead of them, like by maybe 30 years, was actually drafted by a pro team. Drafted. So it's like reverse engineering in that sense, you know? It's like, you know, it's almost like you winning backwards, you know? Like they're fighting to get to a point where women could get drafted into the NBA. They're fighting for that right now, you know? You got women who are becoming superior athletes as the years go on. You're seeing women dunk on the fast break now more often than before, you know? So, I mean, I'm just saying that, hey, look, you know, it's like they need to give her more props because she's showing them that it can be done. And the only thing that stopped her from participating in a practice even was pregnancy. It's just unfortunate. Timing is everything.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. So we're here. We're doing it. Real HD show. We are doing it here with the Melanin Wonders of the world. We're talking about all the great contributions, past and present. So we're gonna go to Germany right now, and this is the first thing I want to put up. Now, what you see before you is the German coat of arms as of 1493.
Wow.
So that means
1493.
when the
Whoa.
Germans would come out, or the Prussians at the time, they weren't Germany yet. The Prussians that would come out and they would go to war. This would be their sigil, and it was in
That's
honor of the
interesting.
patron Saint Maurice, who was a Black Roman. And
Right.
you can see these markings not only in Germany, you can see it as north as Ukraine, and you can see it all over the Iberian Peninsula. If you go to places like Aldaba, if you go to places like Cordoba, if you go to places like Seville or Barcelona, you will see images like this all over Europe. But especially, nobody really talks about Germany because, you know, they're Hitler crazy. But they paid homage to our ancestors and our abilities, our divinities, and our accomplishments on the planet. Wanted to show that. Also wanted to show this. There is an African Union within the country of Germany. So Germany is part of the African Union. Very interesting. Never knew that.
Never knew that.
They were part of the ANC. And, you know, they have a thriving melanated population there that participates in Congress, the UN, and all types of, you know, there's all type of correspondence for law and legislation and participation in government and world affairs. And we never knew that. So I never knew that other than researching for the show, found out something else. Also, staying in Germany, Germany had a Black mayor. So meet a Black mayor of Germany that they call the anti-Obama. I don't know what that means, but his name is John Ehret. And 40 years old, John Ehret was elected mayor of Mauer, Germany, a small town in southern Germany, making the elected mayor in modern times. I'm not even going to attempt to say that word. Germany's former version of the FBI. He was an FBI agent for Germany. Was like many millions of Afro-Germans born of melanated descent, whose father was a U.S. soldier stationed in Germany, and his mother was a local German worker. So just wanted to highlight us doing big things across the globe. Big things are going across the globe for our people, showing our melanated wonders within the world. Anybody want to take a pause? I know I just dumped a lot on y'all plate. We're going to do a part 2 to this on Monday, by the way, because I can't get to everything I have right now. On Monday, we'll get into the jab that comes out of Trinity, Tobago, Grenada, and the Caribbean islands. We'll get into Colombia. We'll get into Brazil. We'll get into what Russia is doing, how Russia has melanin magic, and we'll get into In Living Color. Y'all last thoughts as we close out before the night's over, because I could easily go till 11 o'clock doing this. I have so much to jam packed into this. Y'all last thoughts on melanated wonders of the world as we get more into the continent, Caribbean, and South America on the next show.
It's always good to show around the world like you're doing here, especially that we still learn. Just like noticing I didn't know that about Germany. But in the French Riviera and those areas, the depiction of the Black prophets and everything is hung up in the major churches and stuff. They don't have the racism and the isms belong to the origins of the United States. And go elsewhere where you go or you travel. I mean, I've traveled to Barcelona, things in the church. The prophets and Madonnas are Black, and they know, and the Jesus is Black, and this is in Barcelona. So, and in the French Riviera, those areas in Monaco where I had visited, the church where Princess Grace and them all went to, the Stations of the Cross had the Black prophets. They were not in denial that there was no white Jesus hanging there. You can go there today. They're not in denial of who and where the origins of man began. It's only when, the United States formed of, barbarics, and, we're the biggest ones who are barbaric. We're the ones who had to put somebody down just to, make themselves seem up. But you can travel outside the United States and you're going to see the isms are very, they're there. I'm not going to say they're not there, but they're not there. They're there, and they tell you, well, we got it from the United States. That is from the United States.
Well, doesn't the United States have a military base in every continent?
Every continent. Yep.
Every country, they have an embassy pushing their agenda.
Yep.
So they pushing the bull crap too.
Yep. Big facts.
Yeah, man. So if anybody's watching this and you losing hope and or you think our people aren't made of stern stuff, I got another thing for you. Knock it off. We around the globe doing this in a big way. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Original people holding it.
That's right.
Down.
The original people
holding it down. So y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. I'm sorry, Brother Luck. You want to comment before we close out?
Oh, no, I'm with you. No. I'm with you. Go ahead with that. Yep. Rock and roll.
Okay, cool. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all timestamp what y'all like about the show, the episode. Y'all turn on all y'all notifications. Make sure y'all give, because we trying to really raise money and help out Sister Aurora in her time of need. And y'all make sure y'all turn on y'all notifications so that on Monday, when we have another Real HD show, you guys can join and we can all have a higher discussion and celebrate the melanated wonders of the world. I'm gonna say peace. Y'all walk in power. Y'all love on each other. Watch the replay and replay. Y'all be good to each other. We'll see y'all on Moon Day. Peace.